Or you fucking what, mate? I don't know. Welcome to the Sexy Beast episode of It's Always Sunny in Hollywood. I'm your host, Red.
I am Patrick.
And I'm Lugia. Fucking wankers. I don't know.
I guess we're all doing the accent now then.
I'm not gonna make that a thing. Nah.
Would you like a tour? I'd like to see where you're not gonna take a piss. Or you the didgeridoo. Okay.
Just take a piss on your floor.
Stare at the back of your own fucking forehead. We're jumping ahead. That's my favorite line in the movie.
Yeah, so let's just briefly, I guess, talk about the news. So, last week we mentioned the controversy with Justin Roiland, and it seems to have caught up with him because he has now been fired from Rick and Morty, his video game company, and basically all the shows. He's been everyone's cut ties from him. So, yeah, it seems like what happened was pretty bad.
And you'd think this would mean the end of Rick and Morty, but no, they're trying to find someone new.
I've been seeing a lot of people try to put in auditions. Most of them are jokes, but it's been flooding.
That seems like a difficult task to me, because, I mean, Justin Roiland is Rick and Morty. He has that iconic voice to him that just can't really duplicate.
Now, here's the thing. I'd say Rick maybe, but I feel like everyone's got a pretty decent Morty impression. I've never seen a bad Morty impression, I'll be honest.
All right, well, here we go. Oh God, Rick, what the fuck? Why did you piss on the floor?
Rick, that's a sexy beast. There's a sexy beast.
Oh, jeez, Rick. He's like, Morty. Why you the fucking Bushworld Adventures thing, that was like an Australian Rick and Morty, so yeah, I guess
Real ones remember just Justin Roiland from Fish Hooks. Come on.
Yeah, although
or as I like to call it, Corey in the Tank.
Now what? We got Justin Roiland, who's arrested for domestic abuse charges. Corey, who's arrested for pedophilia charges, and then the third one is arrested for drug charges. So the entire Fish Hooks cast is in jail.
Wait, who was the last one?
Whoever voiced the chick, I forgot her name.
Chelsea Kane?
Yeah.
She was arrested for something?
Yeah, cocaine.
Jesus!
What the fuck?
What is going on? What is going on with the main cast of Fish Hooks? It
must be something in the water. Y'all had some news to say?
Yes. I learned some. I was just scrolling through social media and I came across a post. I thought this was just like a joke, but I looked into it a bit further. No, this is real. Disney Theatrical Productions is working to make a Broadway musical of Pixar's Coco.
Interesting.
Huh. That's it?
I gotta say, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Coco.
The one where the boy goes into the land of the dead.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that.
Oh dang, that's a good one.
With the dead kid. It's like it's kind of like Spirited Away, if you've ever seen that.
Nope, never saw that either.
Dude, come on.
I know I will at some point.
At some point.
I think it's insane that I showed you Princess Kaguya, but you hadn't seen Spirited Away. Like, okay.
I've seen other Miyazaki films.
Coco, I'll be real. In my mind, the one Pixar movie I always thought would make an interesting musical was Inside Out. But I mean, I can't complain with Coco. I mean, it's about music.
Yeah,
it just makes sense. And
I always thought it'd be funny if they made a Monsters Inc. musical just because of the ending, the gag.
Ending,
yeah.
We don't have any word on a premiere date or anything. It was literally just announced, but I'll keep an eye out for this.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Do you think I should see the movie first, or?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Coco's one of those movies I've never met anyone who doesn't like it.
All right. I guess we'll go right into the movie. Sexy Beast is a 2000 British crime film directed by Jonathan Glazer. This is his directorial debut, but prior to this, he was a successful like music video director and stuff. Did some stuff with Radiohead and Blur, kind of a standard, music video to director pipeline. His career is pretty interesting because he's one of those directors that doesn't put out a ton of movies, but every time he does, it's something completely different and pretty well regarded. His last flick was called Under the Skin, and that is a weird to real psychological horror movie that people compare to like 2001: A Space Odyssey. So pretty fucking different from Sexy Beast. It just came out. This stars Ray Winstone, Ben Kingsley, and Ian McShane. Ian McShane and Ben Kingsley are pretty big actors. I'm sure you've seen them in other stuff. And the main character, Ray Winstone, he's also has had a pretty solid career. He was in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Sweeney Todd. You've seen
I've seen Sweeney Todd.
the 2006 Sweeney Todd.
2007.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with Johnny Depp.
That's the one.
Okay. I'm not sure. It says in his filmography that he played Sweeney Todd. But I'm not sure if it was the movie or if he just played him on Broadway. But
probably a stage production.
Yeah,
there's only one Sweeney Todd movie, and it's the one with Johnny Depp.
Ray Winstone, pretty prolific career. He was in The Departed, which we've talked about before on this show, and his actually most recent role was Papa Bear in the new Puss in Boots movie. So yeah, they're all getting some pretty decent work. But yeah, Sexy Beast upon initial release was critically acclaimed. Ben Kingsley was nominated for an Oscar for a Best Supporting Actor, and I think it was pretty deserved. A pretty low budget flick, but made a profit. And yeah. So I guess just a brief little plot synopsis is it basically it's one of those classic trying to get someone out of retirement type movies where we have this British ex-criminal Gary Dove, or they call him Gal, is living in Spain and retired, and then his old boss basically comes by and tries to get him to come out of retirement for a heist. And most of the flick is literally just kind of the back and forth between them. It's a pretty short movie, only like 90 minutes long, and it ends with the heist, and there's a lot of there's some interesting twists and turns in the second half. But yeah, what do you guys think about it?
All in all, it was a pretty solid time. My biggest gripe though with the movie is the first half of it. This is a very short film, all things considered, but the first half of it can amount to Don goes in and sees Gal after like not meeting him for like so long. It's like, hey, we got to do a heist together, man. And Gal says, nah, I'm good. And that's literally the first half of the movie. They just go back and forth saying like, you're gonna do this. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Get the fuck out. You're gonna do this. No.
And then Don dies, and he says, okay, I'll do it.
What's very funny about this movie is so this is a movie like the first time I watched it I was like a little bit iffy, but like upon rewatch it got a little bit better. Yeah, I'd say this movie like really kicks off when Don Logan shows up, Ben Kingsley character. Before that it's just kind of he's the real show stealer. Like that's like my real take on the movie. It's like a pretty chill kind of like Jackie Brown type hangout movie for like half of it. And the other half is like this Ben Kingsley just going absolutely insane, and what I would argue is his best performance.
I mean, he pissed on the floor. He's unhinged.
What were you gonna say, Patrick?
I was gonna say, overall, I thought this movie was all right. Like Lugia said, a good amount of the first half is literally just a back and forth of do it, no, do it, no, do it, no, and then he does it. And that's the movie.
They could have taken care of that in like one, maybe two scenes. We didn't need Don to like go on the plane and get kicked out only for him to come back. I felt like that was unnecessary.
It feels like to me there just wasn't really a whole lot happening.
Okay, I understand your point with the plane scene, but also,
I mean, it was a good scene.
It's like the funniest part of the movie.
Like I get that, but
the plane is like easily the best sequence of the film.
It's so weird. Because it really is kind of unnecessary when you think about it, but it was handled really well. So it's like, do you really want to get rid of this? It's just...
The way I see it, like, this movie is kind of like a sort of like a vibe movie. Like, it's a movie where, like, the plot doesn't really matter. I think he just wanted to sort of explore the characters in this setting. And one thing I do like that, like, I pick up on, like, rewatch is, like, I kind of like, if you pay attention to, like, the scenes where, like, Don first shows up, like, how he takes command, how they film him, like kind of the way he responds to people. There's like a lot of nuances in how like he kind of takes command, and I think that's pretty effective, and I get why they like spent so much time kind of like doing it. Especially because like if you look physically, Ben Kingsley is like a very like skinny kind of tiny little man, and Ray is bigger. So like I feel like they kind of like want you to chew on why like Ray is so clearly intimidated by him. But yeah, no, I get the thing that's kind of like it's very much a meandering flick. Not a ton happens. It's just kind of like I said, I just call it like a vibe movie.
Kind of like Dazed and Confused.
I guess, but a very, very different approach.
But yeah.
Yeah, but like I found like a lot of the interactions with like Don and Gal it is I just think they're just like really funny. Like when he's like, "Do it," it's like, "I don't want to do it, mate. Fucking do it."
This is
Yeah.
Peer Pressure the movie.
Yeah, this whole movie is just peer pressure, and like I just find that like it's just fascinating because like when I went into this movie, like I was like, I had no idea what to do. Like I just heard it was like a British crime movie, and then like the whole flick is just come out of retirement. Like most movies like this is like, oh, you have the person like conflicted about their retirement, coming out of retirement. That's like the first act, but like this movie, like just the whole flick is that, and like it's an interesting twist to me, and but yeah, it's definitely like odd because like I'll admit, like the first time I saw this, like I was like, I didn't know what to really make of it, and it's like something that's like, but it's one of those movies that like it gets kind of lodged in my head, and I keep coming back to it, and each time I'm like, I just kind of like it a little bit more, but like it's a very weird movie.
I will say though, how they masked Don's death near the end, I thought that was pretty genius. Because he goes back, right, and he just starts fucking everybody up. He gets the gun pointed at him, and then he points the gun at Dee Dee, Gal's wife. And then we just cut to Gal like doing the job. So I'm like, oh, okay, so Don like literally just forced him into this position now. Until we see cuts later where Don gets shot, and I'm like, wait, what? That caught me off guard, but I really like that editing a lot.
This movie did have some neat editing tricks. I will say that. Like, I like in the beginning the perspective of the boulder falling down the hill.
Yeah.
By the way, what did the boulder have to do with anything?
I guess to draw attention to the pool. I don't know.
So I think it was a bit of like a symbolic sort of thing, kind of like a metaphor, and also like just a tone setter for the flick. The sequence that threw me off was that like weird ass fucking dream sequence. You guys remember that?
Oh,
like,
yeah, with the bunny
man.
Yeah,
with the rabbit. I saw that. What the fuck?
Yeah, that caught me off guard too.
There's a lot of like kind of.
I mean, I get his first two appearances. I don't get why he's there in the end. Like, what is that about?
The boulder threw me off guard. The bunny threw me off guard. The fucking orgy threw me off guard. Kind
of like all the surreal imagery though, and like the surreal imagery and like the fact that it looks hot as shit there. It kind of like gave this very like unique kind of uncomfortable vibe to me. Like I feel like it looks really uncomfortable, and like part of the time it feels like almost like you're in a desert and like you're hallucinating. That's like what kind of like the vibes gave me of this flick.
That's funny because in the dream sequence with the rabbit demon guy or whatever, they just apply a blue tint to all that. Like he's still in the desert. He's sitting down at a diner table in the desert, and it's just blue.
Bunny rides up on horseback and aims a gun at him.
I think the filmmaking is very interesting, but like you can 100% tell that this dude worked on music videos before.
Yeah,
definitely got like kind of a surreal music video vibe. Like especially like because this came out in 2000, so he worked on 90s music videos. And it was like, yeah, this is what 90s music videos reminded me of.
Yeah, the editing was neat. It felt like there wasn't a lot happening.
Again, you probably could cut out most of that first act. It was unbearably
I get what
long.
You said, Red, how this whole movie essentially being the whole recruiting thing and trying to get the guy out of retirement is an interesting idea. I don't know. It kind of got stale for me after a while.
Yeah, I get that. But it's definitely like kind of like one of those like just kind of like slow burn kind of chill movies. Like I don't know. I'm definitely gonna like revisit this again. Like I feel like on like a lazy like hot summer day, like
not in January.
Put on and just kind of. It's definitely an acquired taste, and I'll be honest. Like the only reason I recommend it is because like this is just a movie that's like honestly grown on me, and I just watching it again. So yeah. Out of curiosity, have you guys seen any British crime flicks before? like Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
Not those.
No, I have not.
Okay. I think it'll be very interesting later down the line watching this because what I've noticed with most British crime flicks is that they're very, very like energetic and frenetic. And this is like not that at all. But like it still has like the same sense of like humor because like Snatch and Lock, Stock, and all that stuff, and like Layer Cake, they have like a similar kind of like British flavor to it, but they're all incredibly snappy. So like this was also like a because I saw those, this is like an interesting like kind of twist and change of pace. So that's like another reason I kind of like it. So I guess like the obvious stand-up performance is Ben Kingsley, but what do you
Yeah.
guys think of everyone else?
Everyone else did a fine enough job, but Ben Kingsley was he was the one I remember the most just because of how fucking pissed he was.
Absolutely.
You could see a vein on his head at all times just popping out no matter what. I'm like, is this guy just constantly mad at the world 24/7?
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense to me why he got like nominated for the Oscar because this is like such a unique, like different kind of performance, and his lines are just kind of like this is like another movie where like every time like I watch this movie again, like the dialogue, there's just something like that like just catches me off guard about something Ben Kingsley says because he just says like so much and like you don't
Yeah.
even like absorb it all the time.
And it's even more crazy when you consider the fact that he played Gandhi.
Yeah, that's like another. Before this movie, Gandhi was his biggest roles. Like this must have been like such an insane kind of like twist. Like his previous like Oscar nominations were for like Schindler's List and Gandhi
That's a
movies. Like, what the fuck?
parallel to I forget what game this was, but that's a parallel to a certain war game where there's a peace stat and Gandhi's supposed to have the highest peace stat out of them all, but that can overflow and according to the coding that can turn into like 0 or negatives. So then he just becomes a brutal murderer. And that's a glitch that has stayed within the series. I forget what game this was though, but I am aware of that glitch.
Civilization.
Civilization? Okay.
This game is
Yeah,
that
like the
glitch.
glitch is
Yep.
that they put his rage levels at a 0 because he's Gandhi. But the thing is that like aggression levels can get reduced. He's at 0. He's at the lowest. So when his aggression levels got reduced, it just loops back around to the
Oh,
highest.
so it was aggression
one.
levels, not like peace level. Okay, I got that wrong.
I bet you Jonathan
But it was
Glazer
something
saw
of the
that
sort.
glitch and said, "You know what? Yeah, we're gonna do that."
Some fun facts is you know the actor Ray Winstone, he actually went to Spain 2 weeks ahead of filming so he could get the tan. So yeah, he just like legit just went on vacation for Spain for 2 weeks. Ben Kingsley claims the character of Don Logan is largely based on his grandmother, so Jesus fucking Christ.
Wow.
Again,
Yeah.
think of the grandma from Coco with her sandal.
Yeah, but yeah, Ben Kingsley claims the character of Don Logan. He describes playing Don as venting all his anger and tension he had in him, and then he'd be like a meek baby for the rest of the day. So he'd be like, he like just bottle up all his anger, like let it all out in the performance, and then like after he's done shooting, he's just kind of like the most chill dude. A lot of the times where like the actors are kind of like stunned. Yeah, that was like kind of unscripted. Where like they kind of like would forget their lines because like they're like they overwhelmed like the actors in real life. Anthony Hopkins, you know, whatchamacallit, Hannibal Lecter was a huge fan of this flick and sent Ben Kingsley a fan letter. But what I find interesting is that the performance that Ben Kingsley performance in there's the only other movie where I've seen a comparable performance was as Hannibal Lecter, but not in Silence of the Lambs, in Manhunter, the movie that came out before Silence of the Lambs. Because Brian Cox in there, he has like a similar kind of thing where he just kind of like barrages you with like insults, like trying to like break you apart. And I was like, that's interesting. Apparently, like Ben Kingsley's character is like also kind of realistic for like kind of like abusive people. Where this is kind of like how a lot of abusive people kind of like break you down. The word "fuck" is used 115 times in this movie.
How many times is the C word used?
The 21 times.
Okay.
Only 21?
That's not
Yeah.
too bad in
does
comparison.
That does not sound right.
Yeah, not really. I don't know. Is that? I find it funny how Ben Kingsley and Ian McShane they never share a scene. Like Ian McShane like talks about Ben Kingsley's character, but like they're never actually like ever on screen together. They never like talk to each other. I think that's kind of funny. I don't really got much to say. You know, it's a pretty interesting kind of, definitely a very unique kind of flick.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I don't know.
decent.
You guys have any more last thoughts?
Not
Pretty
really.
much said my piece.
Okay. If you're a fan of this movie, I would definitely check out In Bruges. I'd say that's probably the closest other British flick I can think of because it has like a similar chill vibe, and it's about kind of like two people. Same with Banshees of Inisherin. I would say those movies have much more like active driving plots. So the meandering thing that you guys disliked about this, it's not a problem with those two. So you might like those ones a bit more. And I'd also recommend Jackie Brown, which is a Tarantino flick. That's I'd argue his like probably the most like relaxed kind of chill movie, and at times reminds me of the kind of like relaxed vibe here, but then it also kind of ramps up tension. So kind of like similar vibe. So yeah, I'd recommend those two if you're a fan of this. And yeah, I believe it is your recommendation now,
Lugia.
Patrick.
Oh, it's Lugia's turn.
Oh, it's Luke.
Yeah.
I
Lugia's
went
turn.
last week, remember? April 11th?
Right. Yeah, you recommended last week. Yes.
All right, Lugia.
You're gonna
I'm
wish it
ready
was
for-
Patrick's turn, though. All right,
Oh
so
boy.
February is just around the corner, and well, likely when we're gonna record next, it will be February. And you know what
Oh,
February
boy.
means, right?
Valentine's Day?
Something really shitty weather.
Yes and
Black
yes,
History Month.
and that too. But this movie doesn't relate to that, I don't think. So this movie is the story of a boy wanting to find true love in the world. And what better movie to adapt that sort of story than Nickelodeon's The Fred movie?
What?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
No way.
Hell yeah.
No freaking way.
Yep.
You're. Holy
We
shit.
should talk about the whole trilogy.
We
Hell
could.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you
Holy
guys want to
shit.
watch the whole trilogy, be my guest.
I'm not gonna watch Fred 3, but I am probably gonna watch Fred 2, just because I feel like Fred 1 and Fred 2 are just like kind of interesting flicks. I'm not watching Fred 3. Fred 3 is just ass. I don't like it. I don't want to see it.
Well, gentlemen, it's only a matter of time.
Yep. I think before I said I wouldn't recommend this, but honestly, I kind of ran out of ideas.
I was fully expecting Red to choose this one.
Yeah, it was on my list.
Because you keep joking about it. Every time Fred is brought up, I'm like, when? Just when?
Yeah, no, I was prepared to do it. Honestly, the reason I was holding off was because like I kind of want to like watch the first two movies together, but I was just like, do I wanna? Like, I don't know.
We've also
Are we
been
gonna
on
watch
a
this one
bit of a
together?
streak with good and decent movies. We need to see something that's like, shit.
I'm wondering, are we gonna watch this?
Together, we can if you want us to. I don't mind. But yeah, Fred Figglehorn, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you bloody cunt! You're gonna fucking do the job, all right? Ain't it? He's like, I don't want to do the job. Fuck off.